Here we are at Auctioneer Training. Haven't done this for a wee while and we've had a few requests. So the Inrooms auction, obviously physically it's in Double Bay. We did have a glitch with the communications where we were just online last auction. That went pretty well, and everybody except for maybe one vendor logged on. So what we'll do is do a bit of a quick warm-up. The important things obviously that we're looking for is the reserves have to be in my possession. Any bidding authorities bidding on behalf of have to be in my possession as well, and then it's just terms and conditions, and unless stated otherwise, the standard terms and conditions of the auctions that are read out at the start of the auction. So everybody in rooms would know exactly what's going on, and if you've come on, we bring in the buyers on the individual auctions, so you'll get you actually just log into your specific auction. You won't be logging into all the auctions or waiting or whatever it is. So it's specific, good for the vendors, good for the buyers. You're not getting mixed into other properties. Yeah, so whether it's online bidding or in rooms, we like to have you in rooms, especially if you actually end up buying it. And we like our vendors in rooms if they cannot actually be there. But if they can't, you'll be looking at me like this. Excuse me. So we're just going to run through a bit of a warm up. Rubber baby buggy bumper, 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 rubber baby buggy bumper. And if people wondering where Richie is, there he goes. He's just right there. Sorry about that. Popped out of the cradle. So differences in auctioneering auctions. You'll notice a lot of them are using AI. I don't believe in it. Don't think it'll take off, purely because AI can't read the room, doesn't know each bidder, and that's not in the benefit of the vendor and getting the highest possible price. It's just a matter of you just calling numbers. Anyone can do that. An auctioneer can read the room, can get more money out of the buyers, and that's the job. And keep a smooth auction going. Know when to pause if a buyer needs a bit of time to concur, and that happens quite often when you're talking about property auctions opposed to stock and station. So moving right along. Might be a bit rusty, haven't called an auction for a couple of weeks. So and the other thing is that you'll hear the numbers very clearly at a residential or at a property auction, whereas fruit and veg, if you get up nice and early in the morning, go along to your fruit and veg market, you can't hear. He's concentrating on the same buyers every day, so the buyers are familiar with the auctioneer's banter, and they are familiar with bidding, whereas it might be the first time that our bidders have ever purchased anything at auction, so we have to take that into consideration. But in saying that, rhythm is everything, so we're just going to kick her off. 1, would you give 2, 2, would you give 3, 3, would you give 4, 4, would you give 5, 5, would you give 6, 6, would you give 7, 7, would you give 8, 8, would you give 9, 9, would you give 10? 1, would you give 2, 2, would you give 3, 3, would you give 4, 4, would you give 5, 5, would you give 6, 6, would you give 7, 7, would you give 8, 8, would you give 9, 9, would you give 10? 1, would you give 2, 2, would you give 3, 3, would you give 4, 4, would you give 5, 5, would you give 6, 6, would you give 7, 7, would you give 8, 8, would you give 9, 9, would you give 10? 1, would you give 2, 2, would you give 3, 3, would you give 4, 4, would you give 5, 5, would you give 6, 6, would you give 7, 7, would you give 8, 8, would you give 9, 9, would you give 10? 1, would you give 2, 2, would you give 3, 3, would you give 4, 4, would you give 5, 5, would you give 6, 6, would you give 7, 7, would you give 8, 8, would you give 9, 9, would you give 10? So that was just a quick, we noticed that I went through 2 without a breath, so that's important, but it's important with the breathing, the rhythms. You notice it flows. I use a gavel to flow, especially in a room. If you're in a room of a couple hundred people, it just helps you're moving from one bidder to another, and it's just a natural flow of progression. You'll find that the bids will continue with flow and rhythm. 1, 1, would you give 2, 2, 2, 2, would you give 3, 3, 3, 3, would you give 4, 4, 4, 4, would you give 5, 5, 5, 5, would you give 6, 6, 6, 6, would you give 7, 7, 7, 7, would you give 8, 8, 8, 8, would you give 9, 9, 9, 9, would you give 10, 10? 1, 1, would you give 2, 2, 2, 2, would you give 3, 3, 3, 3, would you give 4, 4, 4, 4, would you give 5, 5, 5, 5, would you give 6, 6, 6, 6, would you give 7, 7, 7, 7, would you give 8, 8, 8, 8, would you give 9, 9, 9, 9, would you give 10, 10? 1, 1, would you give 2, 2, 2, 2, would you give 3, 3, 3, 3, would you give 4, 4, 4, 4, would you give 5, 5, 5, 5, would you give 6, 6, 6, 6, would you give 7, 7, 7, 7, would you give 8, 8, 8, 8, would you give 9, 9, 9, 9, would you give 10, 10? 1, 1, would you give 2, 2, 2, 2, would you give 3, 3, 3, 3, would you give 4, 4, 4, 4, would you give 5, 5, 5, 5, would you give 6, 6, 6, 6, would you give 7, 7, 7, 7, would you give 8, 8, 8, 8, would you give 9, 9, 9, 9, would you give 10, 10? So same again. So we're just going up to the 3s, and you'll notice I'm doing them in times 3. 1, 1, 1, would you give 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, would you give 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, would you give 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, would you give 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, would you give 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, would you give 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, would you give 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, would you give 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, would you give 10, 10, 10? 1, 1, 1, would you give 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, would you give 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, would you give 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, would you give 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, would you give 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, would you give 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, would you give 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, would you give 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, would you give 10, 10, 10? And you would have noticed a little smile there as you hit the 6s. For obvious reasons for the Aussies. And Tony Fountain, one of my trainers and role models, may rest in peace, but I did a course in Melbourne in the 90s with Tony, a beginners, medium and advanced course, and they sat me on $666,666.66. We had a classroom roaring around with laughter for about 15 minutes each time. Anyway, the things that amused us in the 90s. And Tony was a brilliant stock auctioneer firstly, and then property auctioneer, and probably called about 15,000 property auctions. Various stories. We partnered up, called auctions, and amazing control of a Inrooms property auction, able to park auctions, and then come back to them and just keep that flow going. So he could sell one, park another one, start the next one, come back to that one, park it again, start the third one, and he could have 2 parked and then bring them in and launch, and he never lost track of his bidders. Never, a lot of the times, never had a scribe, so it was awesome to see. Now we're just going to cut out the would you give and cut it down a wee bit. So 1 would give 2, 2 would give 3, 3 would give 4, 4 would give 5, 5 would give 6, 6 would give 7, 7 would give 8, 8 would give 9, 9 would give 10, 1 would give 2, 2 would give 3, 3 would give 4, 4 would give 5, 5 would give 6, 6 would give 7, 7 would give 8, 8 would give 9, 9 would give 10. 1 would give 2, 2 would give 3, 3 would give 4, 4 would give 5, 5 would give 6, 6 would give 7, 7 would give 8, 8 would give 9, 9 would give 10. So why do we cut it down? When the bids come in rapidly in a smaller room, your voice doesn't have to travel, so I would use would you give if I'm in a big room of 200 or 300 people, to give your voice time to travel to the back of the room. Would it give fine if you've got people right in front of you on site, or in a small room, which I call in a small room now, a smaller room. Our standard room is a smaller room, so I'll use the would give. 1 1 would give 2 2, 2 2 would give 3 3, 3 3 would give 4 4, 4 4 would give 5 5, 5 5 would give 6 6, 6 6 would give 7 7. 7 7 would give 8 8, 8 8 would give 9 9, 9 9 would give 10 10. 1 1 would give 2 2, 2 2 would give 3 3, 3 3 would give 4 4, 4 4 would give 5 5. 5 5 would give 6 6, 6 6 would give 7 7, 7 7 would give 8 8, 8 8 would give 9 9, 9 9 would give 10 10. 1 1 would give 2 2, 2 2 would give 3 3, 3 3 would give 4 4, 4 4 would give 5 5, 5 5 would give 6 6, 6 6 would give 7 7, 7 7 would give 8 8, 8 8 would give 9 9, 9 9 would give 10 10. So still giving the numbers clearly, that's still important. I know there's other rapid. My style would be more like Brian White than Paul. Paul was a bit more rapid. Brian was more clear. So I like to be clear, a bit slower, but I like the bidders. I tend to think you keep your bidders active when they know where the bid is and how much it is. So the filler is only there to clarify the numbers and to separate the numbers, so that you're not going 1 1 to 2 2, 2 2 or 3 3. So that can confuse people if they're not concentrating or they don't hear properly, especially if you've got people talking in the auction itself. So 1 1 1 would give 2 2 2. 2 2 2 would give 3 3 3, 3 3 3 would give 4 4 4, 4 4 4 would give 5 5 5, 5 5 5 would give 6 6, 6 6 6 would give 7 7 7, 7 7 7 would give 8 8 8, 8 8 8 would give 9 9 9, 9 9 9 would give 10 10 10. 1 1 1 would give 2 2 2, 2 2 2 would give 3 3 3, 3 3 3 would give 4 4 4, 4 4 4 would give 5 5 5, 5 5 5 would give 6 6 6, 7 6 6 6 would give 7 7 7, 7 7 7 would give 8 8 8, 8 8 8 would give 9 9 9, 9 9 9 would give 10 10 10. So there you have it. It's just a matter of concentrating on the numbers, bringing in the bids, making sure it's clear, and that is a vital piece of information that a lot of young auctioneers don't understand and won't listen to. Showing you the gavel. It's been dated at 1820. But like Trigger's broom, I don't believe this is 1820. I think that might be, I stand to be corrected, but it may have been replaced. Now, moving right along. On bid 1 would you give 2, on bid 2 would you give 3, on bid 3 would you give 4, on bid 4 would you give 5, on bid 5 would you give 6, on bid 6 would you give 7, on bid 7 would you give 8, on bid 8 would you give 9, on bid 9 would you give 10, On bid 1, would you give 2? On bid 2, would you give 3? On bid 3, would you give 4? On bid 4, would you give 5? On bid 5, would you give 6? On bid 6, would you give 7? On bid 7, would you give 8? On bid 8, would you give 9? On bid 9, would you give 10? On bid 1, would you give 2? On bid 2, would you give 3? On bid 3, would you give 4? On bid 4, would you give 5? On bid 5, would you give 6? On bid 6, would you give 7? On bid 7, would you give 8? On bid 8, would you give 9? On bid 9, would you give 10? On bid 1, would you... So, just, once again, using the same system. So, using the complete word, and that is for a bigger, noisier room, so that people can give their minds time to concentrate on the numbers at either end of the filler. I'm just going to speed her up a wee bit. On bid 1, would it give 2? On bid 2, would you give 3? On bid 3, would it give 4? On bid 4, would it give 5? On bid 5, would it give 6? On bid 6, would it give 7? On bid 7, would you give 8? On bid 8, would you give 9? On bid 9, would you give 10? On bid 1, would you give 2? On bid 2, would you give 3? On bid 3, would you give 4? On bid 4, would you give 5? On bid 5, would you give 6? On bid 6, would you give 7? On bid 7, would you give 8? On bid 8, would you give 9? On bid 9, would you give 10? On bid 1, would you give 2? On bid 2, would you give 3? On bid 3, would you give 4? On bid 4, would you give 5? On bid 5, would you give 6? On bid 6, would you give 7? On bid 7, would you give 8? On bid 8, would you give 9? On bid 9, would you give 10? So tonality, obviously I'm just calling here and calling to a phone that is 24 centimetres away. Don't have to throw my voice, not talking too loud, being clear. So tonality, I will emphasise different words and different numbers on the way through. I don't use a lot of quarters and things anymore because the young boys don't understand it. So 1 1/4, 1 1/2, 1 3/4, 2. 2 2 1/4, 2 1/2, 2 3/4, 3. 3 1/4, 3 1/2, 3 2 3/4, 4. All that sort of thing wasted on the market now, so they wouldn't understand it. So where do we get to? We're at on bid. On bid 1 1, would it give 2 2? On bid 2 2, would it give 3 3? On bid 3 3, would it give 4 4? On bid 4 4, would it give 5 5? On bid 5 5, would it give 6 6? On bid 6 6, would it give 7 7? On bid 7 7, would it give 8 8? On bid 8 8, would it give 9 9? On bid 9 9, would it give 10 10? On bid 1 1, would it give 2 2? On bid 2 2, would you give 3 3? On bid 3 3, would it give 4 4? On bid 4 4, would it give 5 5? On bid 5 5, would it give 6 6? On bid 6 6, would it give 7 7? On bid 7 7, would it give 8 8? On bid 8 8, would it give 9 9? On bid 9 9, would it give 10 10? So that's the on bid, would it give? Stating the bid, nominating the rise, and then stating the bid again once you've got it. Pretty simple, eh? So we're going to go to a bit of a rapid, have a practice, and then cut her up. When would you give 2? 2 would you give 3? 3 would you give 4? 4 would you give 5? 5 would you give 6? 6 would you give 7? 7 would you give 8? 8 would you give 9? 9 would you give 10? 1 would you give 2? 2 would you give 3? 3 would you give 4? 4 would you give 5? 5 would you give 6? 6 would you give 7? 7 would you give 8? 8 would you give 9? 9 would you give 10? 1 would you give 2? 2 would you give 3? 3 would you give 4? 4 would you give 5? 5 would you give 6? 6 would you give 7? 7 would you give 8? 8 would you give 9? 9 would you give 10? So we're going to go to a new one. Oh, not a new one, an old one. Different one, I should say. So all of the fillers are for different rooms and different properties even, depending on the bidders. 2 bidders versus 8. Whether reserves are set realistically or not, all those things come into considerations. So I'm going to talk about bid them on. bid 'em on, bid 'em on, bid 'em on. This is the filler you'll hear the very rapid auctioneers, especially from Missouri Auctioneer School. Americans use it all the time. I don't, because unless you've got an experienced room of bidders, you find that you can lose a strong bidder. And I'll just explain that you get, if they get lost, they get confused. So one bid them on two bid them on three. They bid at one, and we're already at three, and they don't understand why. Then they have to recalibrate. Okay, I'm only wanting to go to 5. So they've bid at 1, and their next bid could be at their extreme. So we're not really, there's no flow for them. It's too rapid. Flow for experienced bidders, but not for them. And if you've watched the property, been a early morning start. If you've watched the odd property program that has auctions, you find that the agents even lose where the bidders. So, bid them on. 1 bid them on 2, 2 bid them on 3, 3 bid them on 4, 4 bid them on 5, 5 bid them on 6, 6 bid them on 7, 7 bid them on 8, 8 bid them on 9, 9 bid them on 10, 1 bid them on 2, 2 bid them on 3, 3 bid them on 4, 4 bid them on 5, 5 bid them on 6, 6 bid them on 7, 7 bid them on 8, 8 bid them on 9, 9 bid them on 10. So the bid them on is a bid a second, basically. So I can get 60 bids in a minute. And that's very rapid for real estate. It's great for the auctioneer's ego, but realistically, getting 60 bids, so that's 60 cash unconditional offers in 1 minute. That's the part that people lose sight of. So if it's at 5 million, we've just had 60 people willing to pay 10% deposit and cash in 30 days. They're the terms that my company uses. In 1 minute. This is pretty amazing, isn't it? Considering the amount of unconditional offers in the market today. So right, moving right along. 1 bid them on 2, 2 bid them on 3, 3 bid them on 4, 4 bid them on 5, 5 bid them on 6, 6 bid them on 7, 7 bid them on 8, 8 bid them on 9, 9 bid them on 10. I'm bid at 1 million, bid them on 1 1. I'm bid at 1 1, bid them on 1 2. I'm bid at 1 2, bid them on 1 3. I'm bid at 1 3, bid them on 1 4. I'm bid at 1 4, bid them on 1 5. I'm bid at 1 5, bid them on 1 6. I'm bid at 1 6, bid them on 1 7. I'm bid at 1 7, bid them on 1 8. I'm bid at 1 8, bid them on 1 9. I'm bid at 1 9, bid them on 2 million. I'm bid at 2 million, bid them on 2 1. I'm bid at 2 1, bid them on 2 2. I'm bid at 2 2, bid them on 2 3. First call, second call, third and final call. Sold at 2.3 million. So you saw how rapid that is, and how you could lose good quality bidders, buyers, if you're too rapid. So bid them on. Let's try that on the water give, and you'll notice it's just a little bit slower. So just wait for the clock to come up. Here it comes. I'm bid at 1 million, bid them on 1. Oh, I just got that mixed up. We'll try again. I'm bid at 1 million, would I give 1 1? I'm bid at 1 1, would I give 2 2? I'm bid at 2 2, would you give 3 3? I'm bid at 2 3, would you give 2 4? I'm bid at 2 4. Oh, we just lost the plot there. The wind has come up a little bit, so we'll just move that around. So I'm bid at 1 million, would I give 1 1? I'm bid at 1 1, would I give 2 2? I'm bid at 1 2. I'm bid at 1 2, would I give 1 3? I'm bid at 1 3, would I give 1 4? I'm bid at 1 4, would I give 1 5? I'm bid at 1 5, would I give 1.6. On bid at 1.6 would have given 1.7. Bid at 1.7 would have given 1.8. On bid at 1.8 would have given 1.9. On bid at 1.9 would have given 2 million. On bid at 2 million would have given 2.1. On bid at 2.1 would have given 2.2. On bid at 2.2 would have given 2.3. First call, 2.3 million. Second call, $2.3 million. Are you all said and done? Sold at $2.3 million. So you see that's a wee bit different. It's I'm flipping between the fillers a little bit there. What it gives just a little bit quick. And yet it's slower than bid 'em on. Bid 'em on is very, very rapid for somebody bidding, and you'll hear the focus on the buyers a little bit more than focusing on the product or vendor. So that's the difference between what we're taught. You know, it's something that Tony Fountain taught me very early on. Uncle Alec, same sort of thing. That if you concentrate on the buyer, you'll keep them involved longer, which then gives a better sale price. Stock, property, equipment, all the same. So there you have it. It's 26 minutes of training, which is pretty good. That's my daily training schedule, and that's just what has to happen over the last 35 years. So if you're looking at selling, our next auction is the 26th of April. We've got about 6 days of listing now. Give us a call, 040 297 0217, Brian at brianmcmanusrealestate.com, and we'll get you registered, get the contracts, and get your marketing going. We've beefed up our auction campaigns, our marketing campaigns, just to keep the standard of buyer and the amount of buyers. We try and lock in 3 buyers on every property. So I've found that as we've moved into a recessional market, we have had to up it a little bit, but of course the end result is a sale at auction. Thanks very much. Have a wonderful day. We'll have some more auction training there, and we're going to do some auction bidding for people online or in the rooms. So that'll be exciting. We're going to come from one of the properties as well. So give us a call, Brian at brianmcmanusrealestate.com as well. You can email us there. Obviously I'm on the road at the moment. We're doing 2,500 k's this week, and we'll be going into state as well. So book us in for an appraisal. We can also get listing forms to you and get it listed and get all the marketing going. Thanks very much. Talk to you soon.